It's been 9 years.
I be Orangebeard the pirate.
Now Garfield makes his triumphant return.
Halloween's my kind of a holiday.
Garfield's Halloween Adventure, next.
So something that I've always wanted to do since I got more into the retro scene of gaming was to figure out how to get my old original childhood VHS player set up in my studio so that I could watch, preserve, back up all my childhood VHS tapes. Because that is just something that I really like to preserve. There's just something about watching something that's available on VHS as opposed to watching it on a streaming service or something like that. There's just an analog feeling to it, and I love it. So imagine my surprise when I was digging through my parents' house a couple weeks ago and found an old recorded version of the 1998 presentation of Garfield's Halloween Adventure, as well as Wishbone's Halloween, but we'll be covering that another day. I remember sitting down with my family in October of '98, and we would sit around the TV and watch all the different animated Halloween specials that were out, and it was just the coolest thing. Young me, and still kind of older me, thinks that animated cartoon specials are some of the coolest forms of animated entertainment. It was always cool seeing that there was a Flintstones Christmas special, or a Jetsons Christmas special, or a Scooby-Doo Halloween special. Why don't we pop this bad boy in, go through some of the video that's on here, go through some of the commercials as well, and see what it was like in 1998 with Garfield's Halloween Adventure. So we start out the Halloween special the way that all great Halloween specials do, with our hero fast asleep, being rudely woken up by a horrifying clown. Binky the Clown is absolutely horrifying. I'll never understand why clown children's shows were a thing. I legitimately have never understood it. My dad claims that when I was young, I used to be enamored with watching Bozo the Clown. I don't get it. I don't think that's true.
Binky, come back. Where are you, Binky, old buddy?
That's right, kids!
So were there ever actually remotes like that where you would just click a button and it would do everything for you, like a literal clicker? I'm so used to growing up with remotes where there's, the multiple buttons.
This is the night.
I'm gonna hit the street, 'cause this is the night folks are giving away so many good things to eat.
I really miss cartoon specials having musical numbers. They always just felt like they had so much heart and so much effort put into them back in the day. This Is the Night has lived rent-free in my head for years, by the way. This special came out in '85. We recorded it in '98, and it has been an earworm ever since. I don't know why. And what good is a VHS Halloween review without the commercials? This is just a picture. All right, so in this first batch of commercials, I actually had to take out like 3 commercials based around Jell-O. There was one about champagne Jell-O, one about instant vanilla Jell-O pudding, and then this one about the chocolate vanilla swirl, which I do vividly remember chocolate vanilla swirl being pretty damn tasty. I don't remember a lot of the Fruity Pebbles commercials, but I do know that if Kid Me had watched this commercial, they'd have probably been a little freaked out, because there's nothing scarier to Little Me than pulling off a sheet from a ghost and finding out there's a skeleton underneath. Little Me was scared of a lot of things.
Zip, nada, bupkis, the big goose egg. That's how much alcohol you can drink without affecting your driving. None. Zero. None.
What a glorious day and a glorious night to go trick-or-treating or candy.
Garfield feels the same way about candy that I do, where I would wake up out of a dead sleep if someone was offering to take me trick-or-treating. And I'm almost 30 years old.
Gotcha.
Why can't I stay angry with you, Garfield?
Why can't I stay angry with you, Garfield, is how every cat owner feels about their cat, ever. Leave it to a cat to eat something that they shouldn't, and then try and knock the bowl off the table after. I never realized how accurate that Garfield was as a depiction of a cat until I owned an orange cat. This is so accurate. I love a good repetitive joke. The coming back and then going, and the coming back and then going. Repetition is funny to me. I will never not be. Naturally, Garfield decides to do the only honorable thing when it comes to getting more candy, and tricks Odie to helping him get more. Garfield seems like the kind of friend who would say that Odie's gonna get a piece of candy of his very own, and then proceeds to give him chocolate, because it would be the single most terrible thing a dog could have.
There should be some great Halloween costumes up here somewhere, Odie. John has never thrown anything away.
John never throwing anything away reminds me of my mother-in-law, only because they keep everything in the chance it's important to them. That being said, she has a lot of great Halloween costume parts up in her attic, so who's really the winner?
Some sunglasses, Cousin Wanda's wig, Aunt Orpha's false teeth, yuck, Roy Ogle's roots, strings, sealing wax, and all that funny stuff. Well, I guess there's nothing here.
Odie's costume is straight up eldritch horror, and I loved it. Every second of it is beautiful.
What should I be? There's so many sides to me.
In case I haven't mentioned it yet, the music direction, the lyrics, the singing, everything in this special is top notch. What Should I Be is just a fun little tune. Garfield's bat costume reminds me of Odie's costume when he was a vampire in that Garfield Genesis game, Caught in the Act, I think is what it was. And then he just steals John's lasagna, like, straight up. That is. Good job, Garfield. Good job. And the fact that Odie comes in wearing 4 peg legs, there's just something funny about that. And we got 2 repetition jokes in the same special? Be still, my heart. All right, on to our second round of commercials, and we got one about the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Sponsored
That's
by
kind of cool. Oh, no,
Jell-O.
wait, just more
Send
Jell-O.
shivers
The
up
90s
your
really
kids'
seem to
spoons
like their
with
Jell-O.
Halloween treats, and have a happy Jell-O-ween.
Oh God, the Welch's grape juice girl. I just remember the weird amount of eye contact that she made throughout this commercial. Great tasting, but not great. Something about feeling it in your cheeks, too.
All at one symbol letter on a mighty roar.
I forgot how heavy McDonald's went into the advertising for The Lion King 2. Oh God, kids say the darndest things. I remember this Halloween special because who cooks in your family? Unfortunately, Bill Cosby is on the show, so... Oh God, these Jell-O commercials are kind of terrible now. Coming out of that commercial break, we've got yet another musical number in which Garfield talks about how he doesn't afraid of anything, even though there seems to be actual monsters disguising themselves as humans. It's children's cartoon logic. We'll just let it slide.
The one thing I'm not is a scaredy cat.
At around the 12-minute mark, we finally get to see Garfield and Odie go trick-or-treating, and Garfield really doesn't quite understand the concept.
Methinks you're be a mite stingy with your candy, miss. If you don't reconsider your contribution, I'll give your living room drapes a taste of me broadsword.
That candy looks delicious, and I know it's animated, but it looks really, really good, and we'll see more here in a second. But we need to just take a step back and realize Garfield threatened a woman. Following their adventures with the houses, Garfield gets the brilliant idea to take a boat across the river. And of course, he tells Odie to put out the oars like every good boat captain does. And Odie listens to a T because he's a dog, the most loyal of companions. Unlike a cat.
Topside, batten the hatches, trim the main, slip the sheets, flipper the gibbets. I want my mommy!
Seems like a great time to talk about the fact that this special, this animated special that came out in 1985, won the Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Animated Program the next year in 1986. You go back and you look at the list of winners right around that time, and they were a lot of heavy hitters. So the fact that Garfield, and a Halloween special to boot, took home the Emmy, that's really kind of neat.
Okay, Odie, here's the plan.
Let's investigate, aka breaking and entering. I remember this house and these next couple scenes legitimately giving me nightmares when I was a kid. And I think it's solely because the animation is so different on Garfield and Odie with everything else. Like suddenly everything kind of became darker toned and more, yeah, that.
Shut up, you two!
That old guy scared the living shit out of me when I was young. I mean, look at his animation. It's just, he looks so different. It looks like he's got a little bit of drool or something coming out of his mouth. Oh, he did, and he wiped it. Oh my God, animators, I love you. That is a neat little touch that they did not need to do, and now it explains why it won the Emmy.
100 years ago tonight,
Why, tonight's the anniversary.
pirates held up in this very house.
The animation quality on the old man, though, I really got to go back to that. It's weirdly fluid and reminds me of the old VHS tape of The Lord of the Rings. I think it might have been by Rankin Bass.
Foul Dwimmerlake, Lord of Carrion, leave the dead in peace.
Even if it meant returning from the grave.
That little clip too, where the lightning struck and he suddenly flinched. Oh, that's good. That's good animation right there.
Dead pirates are coming any minute. It's past my bedtime. I want to go home.
That's exactly me once I turned 25. I was a very boring young adult. One of my favorite things, and they did it a lot in like the movie Fantasia, when animators take two different styles of animation, so like the Garfield and Odie animation and the pirate ship and the pirates, which are so radically different, and they mix them together in the same animation cells where they're interacting with each other. It's just the coolest thing. Also, apparently the ghost studied spectral carpentry because they were able to fix that floor pretty easily.
This is it, pal. We swim for it. 1, 2, 3. Rats! I forgot. I can't swim.
So like this is flat out, they almost just like killed Garfield just for the sake of a joke.
I will remember you.
Luckily, Odie's able to pull Garfield out of the water so he doesn't drown. Even more lucky, it seems, the old man left their boat there with all their candy intact.
Here. I guess this story do have a happy ending after all, matey. Seeing as how you saved my life about 18 zillion times tonight.
I'm keeping all the candy for myself.
And at the end of it all, Garfield learned a very valuable lesson about teamwork, friendship, and the power of trusting others, or something like that. Oh yeah, and the old creepy guy apparently runs an all-night pirate movie festival or something. It just got tacked on at the end, I guess. So that was Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Did it hold up as well as I remember it from almost 24 years ago? Yeah, I'd say so. The animation was really pretty. I liked the story. I know they actually turned this into a novelization a couple years after it originally released. And there was also an alternate ending in the book. I've never read the book, but I do think that it's pretty cool that they gave it an alternate ending like that. Overall, I think this is one of my all-time, if not favorite, Halloween animated adventures. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what your favorite Halloween animated series was growing up. Whether you were a Monster House person, or Wishbone's Halloween, or It's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, or anything like that, like Scary Godmother or something. Let me know if you had any favorites, and hopefully we'll be doing something like this a little more often.
"60 men all lost at sea, all of them drunk except for me. 'Twas I who had to face the storm with nothing in sight to keep me warm. Yo ho ho ho, over the raging sea we go.